Every friendship has boundaries that should not be crossed, even those concerning children. Am I wrong for not inviting my friend to a cookout because her son has no boundaries around my kids? I, a 36-year-old woman, have a close friend, Sarah, who is 34. We've known each other for years. We've shared countless memories, supported each other through thick and thin, and our kids have grown up alongside one another. But lately, I've had a hard time spending time with her because of her 7-year-old son, Ethan. Don't get me wrong, he's a sweet kid, but he has absolutely no boundaries when it comes to interacting with my children, and Sarah does nothing to intervene. I have 2 kids, Sophie, who is 8, and Liam, who is 6. While they love hanging out with friends, Ethan's behavior has made them dread gatherings where he's present. For our last cookout, I decided not to invite Sarah and Ethan, and now Sarah is upset with me. She found out about it from another friend, and she's been giving me the cold shoulder ever since. So now I'm wondering if I was wrong for not including them. Here's why I made that decision. Every time we've gotten together, Ethan has been completely overwhelming for my kids, and Sarah just lets him do whatever he wants. I always end up being the one to step in and manage the situation, which leaves me stressed and unable to enjoy the time with my friends. Here are just 5 examples of Ethan's behavior. He gets way too physical. At the last playdate, he kept pushing and hugging my kids, even after they asked him to stop. Sophie is not a fan of rough play, and Ethan wouldn't let her go until she physically had to push him off. Sarah, she was too busy chatting to even notice, and when I mentioned it, she just laughed and said, "Oh, he's just being affectionate." He's always screaming. I don't mean loud talking, I mean full-on yelling in my kids' faces. He thinks it's funny to startle them, but my son, Liam, is really sensitive to loud noises. He covers his ears and runs to me every time Ethan does it. It doesn't matter how many times I tell Ethan to tone it down, Sarah shrugs it off, saying, "Boys will be boys." He doesn't respect personal space. Ethan is always in Sophie's face, grabbing her toys or pulling at her clothes. She's told him multiple times she doesn't like it, but he ignores her. I've seen her go from excited to withdrawn in the span of minutes because she can't handle his constant invasion of her space. He ruins their games. Every time the kids start playing a game, Ethan barges in and takes control. He doesn't ask to join. He just dominates the play, changes the rules, and makes it all about him. When Liam or Sophie try to assert themselves, he throws a tantrum. Sarah either doesn't notice or waves it off, saying, "They'll figure it out." He's always touching their food. At our last picnic, Ethan thought it would be fun to stick his hands into everyone's plates, grabbing food without asking. My kids are pretty particular about their food, and this totally grossed them out. I asked Sarah to talk to him about it, but she just said kids are messy eaters and moved on. After so many experiences like this, my kids started dreading any event where Ethan would be present. Sophie has started hiding when he comes over, and Liam clings to me, asking when they can leave. It breaks my heart to see them so uncomfortable in their own home, and I hate feeling like I have to be on high alert every time Sarah and Ethan are around. So, when we decided to have a cookout last weekend, I made the decision not to invite Sarah and Ethan. I just wanted my kids to have a relaxing day, where they could run around and play without being constantly harassed. It wasn't about excluding Sarah. It was about protecting my kids' experience. Of course, Sarah found out about the cookout through a mutual friend, and now she's upset that I didn't invite them. She hasn't directly confronted me yet, but she's been passive-aggressively making comments on social media, and I've heard through the grapevine that she's really hurt. I know Ethan isn't trying to be malicious, but his lack of boundaries makes it impossible for my kids to enjoy themselves when he's around. Sarah's refusal to step in has only made things worse. I feel like I'm constantly stuck between being a good friend to Sarah and protecting my kids from an environment that makes them uncomfortable. So, am I wrong for not inviting my friend and her son to the cookout? Should I have talked to Sarah again before making that decision? Or was it okay for me to prioritize my kids' comfort and well-being?